Hi there, this is RJ Steinert. I'm going to cover the user story data manager reviews issues. I've created a test group, and if we go to the data menu, we'll find this new menu item called issues. And before I recorded this video, I created 3 issues. And these are 3 issues from 3 different devices. Let's go look at what I have set up for devices. So note that the assigned locations for these 3 different devices, that they're different. So we've got 2 in District B, but at different facilities. So this one's at Facility 4, this one's at Facility 3. Meanwhile, this one's in District A. So 3 different locations, also like 3 different levels. And each of those devices created 1 issue. So let's bring us back to the issues UI. The first thing that I want to demonstrate is browsing these by location. So we know that these 3 issues are from 3 different places. Imagine if you had a lot more devices and a lot more issues, and you wanted to focus in on a specific region or district or facility. We could start by narrowing in on the district. So remember that we have 1 device that created 1. We know that we had 1 device that created 1 issue in District A. So if I search for that, we have it's narrowed it down just to things in District A. Switch over to District B and click search, and we've got the 2 issues from District B. Drill down even further and look at the facility level. Facility 4, now we just have 1 issue. Now pop over to Facility 3, and it looks like the same issue, but it's different. If I click reset, it resets the filters here, and we can search again, and now we're at the top level. So that's the first set of controls for managing issues. The second concept here in the search interface is showing closed issues. Actually, so if I search for this, currently no issues are found. And if I uncheck this, we see issues. So what is closed? If we go into one of these, let's pick this one. And this is the page for an issue. We'll go into what all of this is in a minute, but you can see it has a status of open. Let's say we think this is not an issue. We can close and comment. So we can see that I commented this is not an issue, and status is now closed. Let's back out, go to issues. And we can see that we only have 2 issues in this list now, but if I filter to show closed, we see that, and we don't see the open ones. And the filtering also works here. So if I think this issue was created in District B, right? So if I select District A, I should see nothing, but if I go to District B, I will see that closed issue. All right, so that's the extent of the search filters on this. And let's get into, as you start to work with issues, how do they work? So we have 2 other user stories where these issues were created on the devices, and created videos for those. You can go and watch those. This video, I want to focus on just when the issue has been created, how you manage it, and what are some of the different states that issues can get themselves into. The concept around issues just generally is anytime you want to flag something related to some case content and some case data that was collected, rather, not the content itself. And so 2 different sort of use cases here that I'm demoing. One is there's just a discrepancy found on a form. discrepancy on the test issues created on client form. That's the name of the form. This test issues created on client. That's the name of a form. So again, in one of the other videos where this is created, it's using something called a discrepancy if, and we see a title that is just generic that will be created and is relating to the form that it's on. That there's a discrepancy detected. Looking at that, we see that there's this discrepancy here. Whereas if I go back, this issue is more of like a task related to an issue. So it's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with this. It's that we want to, when somebody has filled out a form on a tablet and it has created an issue, to tell the people on the server level to please print this form and mail it. So you might have a workflow where when somebody fills out a specific form on a device, you want this task essentially to be queued to bubble up with the form when it's uploaded. And so yeah, the two different so in this situation, you wouldn't be modifying any of the data. In one scenario, there's actually a problem with the data and you might want to modify it. In this case, it's just a task. So keep that in mind when thinking about how to use issues. Is they're not just about an issue or problem with the data, but also could be a task related to some piece of content. Okay, so let's jump back out and go to the discrepancy one example. And so when a discrepancy comes up onto the server, again, it will just have like the name of the form that's related to. And if you check out the current version and start opening it up, you'll find that discrepancy here somewhere in one of the items. This is a very simple form where it's just, for testing. It's a form with one page and one question that causes a discrepancy. And so if you have a form that's going to be much longer, it may, you may have to know, you may have to check a couple of different pages to find exactly where that discrepancy is. All right, so this in this discrepancy, we see that you've entered a value greater than 5. And that, there's a discrepancy logic on this that's going to raise that flag if you enter a number greater than 5. So let's say we know for a fact that this is, if this was, we're asking what is the age of someone here, and somebody had entered, they're 500 years old, then we might be like, okay, well, that's probably a typo. They probably meant to type 50. So we might, whatever your organization's process is for figuring that out, that's a business process for them. But let's say they determined like, okay, yes, the age is 50. They called up the person who actually filled out this form and they figured that out. We can see actually here it's opened by RJ. This is the name of the tablet user, so this is their username. And that one thing that would be a nice improvement here perhaps is being able to actually like click to go to that profile, so then you'd see like more information about that user. Usernames might not always be that descriptive. We're actually capturing the user ID, so we could do that. So that may be an improvement for the future. But we can see, opened by RJ. That means that it was the person filling the form out was RJ. And so that might be the person to call and talk about this discrepancy with. But yes, again, let's say that we decided that 50 was the correct value, or let's say in our case 5, so that we can get out of the discrepancy state. What we would do on the server level, we would propose a change. We can see currently that there's 0 changes and 0 revisions. We're going to create a revision with 1 change. Let's click propose. It opens up the form, and we can make a modification. Change this to 5 and submit it. Now we see we have a revision proposed by user 1, me, on the server. And the original value on the form was 5, and now it's proposed is 6. Oh, excuse me. The original value was 6, now proposed is 5. Let's say we had a process where more than one person was supposed to review this. Somebody else might come in here and see, proposed is 5. Actually, I want to propose that it's 4. We now see that there's another revision, and it went from 5 to 4. So you can see that if you go through many iterations of like revisions, you'll see the history of that, and it's the difference you see from original proposes. The original is in the last revision, since the last revision. In these metrics down here, you can see we have one change. That is because we have one total change across all the fields, and 2 revisions. You can see the aggregate of the proposed changes in the proposed tab here. You can see what that the actual form would look like. You can also see the aggregate in differences here. So in this sense, in this view, the original is actually the original form itself, and the proposed is the actual value proposed, the last value proposed. Okay. Things to note, you can use these links to review, open up the case itself, or the form itself. And just something to note, like until you can see when we open up the form, the value is still 6, even though we're proposing changes, because they're just proposals. And let's say you've decided that this is the correct value, and you have the authority to actually merge this change. You would click this merge button here, and that is going to actually take the proposed values and apply them to the actual data in the database. So when I click merge here, we see that it was user 1 who performed the merge. And if I reload this page here now and open this up, we see it's a value of 4. That's the proposed version that we just merged in. After tablets sync next time, this changed value will sync down to them.